The case Trapperlock, specifically model 07010, what you see here, is a really beautiful knife. I didn't realize that Case made a knife that could be open and closed with one hand. I've heard people talk about a trapper knife. I've heard of that being referred to as like a model of knife, but I didn't know what a Trapperlock was, and I learned the other day, and I had to have one. Because to me, this knife is kind of the best of both worlds. You have this beautiful looking traditional gentleman's knife that can be open and closed with one hand. And I like that. I like a knife that you can open and close with one hand. That's why I got so big into Spyderco, Benchmade, okay, companies like that. I know virtually every knife manufacturer nowadays, it seems like, makes a blade that can be open and closed with one hand. That's not revolutionary, but I like that. I don't care quite as much for a knife that requires two hands. It could still be a great knife. Case in point, there's a Buck 319. That's a cool knife. But you have to have hand on the blade, hand on the scales, like we've seen done a million times. Okay, this is pretty much what everybody's grandfather carried. Mine included. This was his for a while. Buck 319. Great knife, but takes two hands. The Case Trapperlock series, however, really cool because you've got that same classic look as you do here, but got the thumb stud. Open and close with one hand. This is a beautiful knife. It comes in these Chestnut Bone handles, which at first I thought, well, which is it? It's one or the other. Well, it is bone. I believe it's shin bone from a steer, if the article I read was to be believed. And then they dye it, giving it this chestnut look. So it looks like wood, but no, it is actually bone. CV stainless steel, CV being chrome vanadium. So they recommend that if you use the knife, if you've been carrying a lot, put some use on the blade, whatever, occasionally put a thin coating of oil on your blade just to prevent rust or corrosion. This knife does come in different patterns, and no two case knives, at least, well, let me rephrase that. No two case knives that have the bone handles look identical. They're all slightly different. Standard case script oval shield on the handle, as you can see there. This is such a beautiful knife. I really like this. A few specs on it. It's got an overall length of 7.37 inches. Blade length of about 3.25. Again, it's that clip point style blade with chrome vanadium stainless steel. A hollow grind. It's got that nice polished finish. I love a high polished satin blade. I just do. I've never liked coated blades nearly as much. And of course, when you're talking about a knife like this, you know, coated is not even part of the discussion. But I just like a nice, shiny knife. I really do. Handle length's 4.12 inches. Again, it's that bone material in the handles there. Feels great in hand. The bolsters are nickel silver. They polish up really well as well. I didn't do anything to this after I got it. This is just what it looked like out of the box. And I've been handling it a lot, so it's got ugly fingerprints all over it. But if you can tell, those come out of the box just really shiny, very pretty. It's a beautiful looking knife. This is the kind of knife that you can get it out of your pocket and use it in front of basically anybody. Nobody's going to really think anything about it. This looks like Granddad's knife, you know. This is what everybody's used to seeing. It's a liner lock. If you look down in there, if I can get this to focus for you. It's a liner lock with a brass frame. So it is brass. You can kind of see it's got that yellow sheen to it. The knife comes in about 3.5 ounces. So it's pretty good. Comfortable. You know, you feel you've got something in your pocket, but it's not weighing you down. It's really comfortable. Manual opening. So that thumb stud that's on there is reversible. It comes, or at least mine came with it on this left side of the blade for a right-handed person to open and deploy the knife. But you can change it to the other side if you're left-handed. You remove that little torque screw. If that'll show up. There we are. Move the screw. You just put the thumb stud on the other side. No big deal. This knife just deploys really smoothly. It really does. Doesn't take a lot of pressure. It's nice and smooth. It feels great. Got a really solid lockup. I'm going to go ahead and put fingerprints all over it now. But it's got a really solid lockup. There's no wiggle up and down at all. No wiggle side to side at all. This just feels like a really quality-made, American-made product. What else can I tell you? It's probably only going to be carried by those who are into this sort of thing. This is not a flashy knife, but there are a lot of people out there that still want to carry what I'll call a traditional knife, gentleman's knife. More than I realized, because after I bought this knife, went onto Facebook and joined one of the case groups on Facebook and posted a picture of the knife and got a great response from people. I basically said, hey, this is the first case knife that I've ever bought. Was this a good model? I feel like it was a good model to pick, and the response was great. A lot of people said, yeah, excellent first knife. Good luck, because you're going to develop an addiction to case knives now. But, yeah, friendly community. And informative. I enjoy watching the posts. A lot of beautiful knives. Man, people collect these things like crazy. Extremely collectible. I get it. I get it. They're functional as well as beautiful. The only complaint I have with this knife, and if you look at the knife right now, I bet you can spot it. Guarantee you can spot it. Yep. Right there. And I didn't see that until after I got the knife home. It was like a few hours after I got the knife home, I spotted that, and I thought, oh, darn it. Got a little blemish right there on the blade. And I don't know what it is. It won't scratch off like with your fingernail or anything. It won't wipe away. I tried just a tiny bit of oil on a rag, tried to see if I could wipe it off. It wouldn't come off. Doesn't seem like it'll come off the blade. I don't know what it is. I don't really care. I know some guys would. If you're a big-time case knife collector, you would see that and be like, well, that takes 25 or 30% off the price of the value of the knife right there. Well, maybe. But I'm not quite that anal about it. I'm a little bit anal because I'm already wiping the fingerprints off that knife I put on it. Just such a great looking knife. So this is my second video I did. I did one video of me reviewing this, and right at the end of the thing, I'm going to talk about how sharp this blade comes out of the box. Right at the end of the thing, just as I was doing right here, just opening and closing the blade just like this, my pinky just barely got in the way. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. There we are. Yeah. Pinky just barely got in the way, and the knife reminded me of how sharp it comes out of the box. Extremely sharp. Like I said, it's not a super steel, but it's sharp enough to do pretty much anything that you're going to need it to do out of the box. And what are you going to use something like this for? Probably maybe cutting up cardboard, opening a package, opening a letter, cutting a piece of fabric, if you got a thread hanging off a shirt, that's what I'm trying to say. There's gonna be stuff like that. So I'm really pleased with this knife. Again, the big attraction for me was it's a knife that, unlike a lot of what I was aware of, unlike the Buck 319 here, it's a knife that's one-handed carry, or one-handed deployment rather, but still has that really beautiful traditional look to it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think. We'll see you next time.